trustworthy.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I know.
So, first, 6 out of 36. So I'm putting the orange in now. I'm putting the orange in to calculate the chance of winning. Plus 2 out of 36. Plus, now I got to multiply fractions, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 out of 36 times 3 out of 9. Cool so far?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 4 out of 36 times 4 out of 10. Good so far? I don't know why I'm yelling. Plus 5 out of 30. I'm just noticing it now, 10 weeks into the class. 5 out of 36 times 5 out of 11. And I got to put all those last ones in a second time in reverse order. Actually, order doesn't matter, but plus 5 out of 36 times 5 out of 11 plus 4 out of 36 times 4 out of 10. And last but not least, 3 out of 36 times 3 out of 9. Holy crap.
Where's no buttons in?
Okay! That was so bizarre. Evil gnome voice from the other side. I love that. So, if I press enter, which just sounds like the gnome under the bridge is telling me to do, we're going to see what the chance of our winning is. Vegas. Vegas is genius. What's that? Just, it's so close to what? It's so close to 50-50. It's this much under. And that's all it takes on the long run to make money from people over hundreds of thousands of hundreds of millions of trials. We got lucky with our 250. We beat the curve, not probability-wise. We didn't beat the curve probability-wise, we beat the curve payoff-wise. We're about to deal with that too. The chance of our winning is about 49.29%. So the chance of winning, theoretical, the chance of winning is roughly about 0.4929, and you can guarantee that Vegas is using every single one of those decimals to calculate their revenues from this game.
I'm curious why the 29292929. Why does that?
Because certain decimals are terminating, certain decimals are repeating, and this is just one of those that repeats. Which means we could, if we wanted to, get it into a fraction. Here's the fraction if you wanted it. It's 244 out of 495. That's the actual fractional value if you needed to use that as a fraction. Josh!
Wouldn't it be more accurate then to put a little line over the two?
Sure, absolutely, but this will get us close enough to what we actually have to do. So now, knowing that, we can now do one more weighted average and then call it a class. Remember what we did here to figure out our average winnings? Now, in order to do that, it was a tad bit messy because we had to assemble our distribution of all our results and then do a weighted average of that. It's even easier to do these results using the chance of winning as 0.4929. Because if the chance of winning is 0.4929, what's the chance of losing? 5071? Right? Check my math on that one. 0 carry the 1, 0 carry the 1, 0 carry the 1. Yeah, I think we're good. Adds to 100%. I say one more quick little mathematical example and we're done. Let's make it simple. Rather than asking you guys, how many of you profited 5, how many of you lost 5, how many of you profited 7, how many of you lost 7, on each game you play, what could happen? You win or lose. If you win, how much do you profit? One, whatever. $1, 1 starburst, 1 whatever. And if you lose, what do you profit?
0.
-1, technically, right? Don't forget you had to pay to play. So technically speaking, when you win, the dealer hands you back 2, but one of those 2 cancels the ante. The other one is a profit of 1. Here, the dealer hands you back nothing, which means you're out that ante that you played. So it's +1, -1, right? Now, Gesundheit, if this were 50-50, this game would be a wash, wouldn't it? If it were 50-50, the game would be a wash, and you'd average no winnings, nor no losses. But it's not. It's brilliant. It's 0.4929 to 0.5071, and oh yes, Vegas understands this. Gesundheit, my goodness, math allergies, allergic to Vegas. Happens sometimes. Can we do a weighted average on this? Hell yeah, we can! It's even easier than the last one. Less adding, only two things to add together. Our average, the average winnings, put it in quotes, because you ain't winning anything. The average winnings, 1 times 0.4929 plus Gesundheit times -1 times 5071. $1 times 0.4929 plus -1 times 0.5071, which comes out to be, I can do this in my head, negative 0.0058. Did I do that right? Check my math on that one. I'm getting, I think I'm doing this right. Negative, no I'm not. 2, 5, I think it was off by 2.
It's negative 0.0142.
There we go, I forgot to carry something. Negative 0.0142. Whoops, that's a 2. Which means we should be losing about 1.5 cents every time we play this game and bet $1. Isn't that incredible? You bet $1 and Vegas slowly takes 1.5 pennies away from you every time you play. So you guys that were having those crazy win streaks today, bless you. Stop. Bless you too. Oh, sneezes. Bless you and stop playing. Because if you get ahead of the curve and you start winning, if you continue to play, you're only going to start losing. Because that is never too far. We only played 250 games today, which is a lot. But it's not enough to establish the pattern of loss that is there over the long run. Please.
Why are the denominators different from here?
Because once you roll a point the first time, for example, if you roll an 8 the first time, it doesn't matter if you roll a 10 the next time. That's a throwaway roll. It doesn't matter if you roll snake eyes. That's a throwaway roll. It doesn't matter if you roll boxcars. 12. That's a throw. The only numbers that matter if you've rolled an 8 are an 8 and a 7. And there are 11 ways of getting an 8 or 7. That's all. That's not an easy it's not an easy calculation. That's why I think this is the most brilliant game in Vegas. That is the closest odds of any Vegas game. Closer than roulette. You guys calculated roulette class last time. I think it was 49.2%, if I remember correctly. Or 49 point... It wasn't quite this good. Slightly worse. Craps has the best payouts. Now, they still suck, because they're negative. But you lose your money the slowest. As long as you're betting on pass line. Please, Britt!
Are you going to hand back our quiz?
I was supposed to, and I totally forgot to, so I got a pile of them up here. Yes, you can come grab them on the way out, for sure. Absolutely. Makes sense? Craps is the fairest game of chance. That doesn't mean it's fair. It's still unfair, because you're still losing your money. But basically what it's doing is, it's bleeding you out 1.5 cents at a time for every $1 bet. So when you walk up, think about it this way. You walk up and give them $1, it's like they're handing you back 98.5 cents. Have a nice day. Then you walk up again. You hand them $1 again, they hand you back 98.5 cents. Have a nice day. That's what an average of negative 1.5 cents means. You're slowly losing your money. So as I often say about craps, it's going to allow you to keep your money the longest as you lose your money. Because that's what it does, right? That's what it does. Amy, go ahead.
I think all the really smart thieves do it this way. Little bits like credit card thieves and people, they take little bits because people don't
Amy.
really notice.
Amy, there's a problem I have in 243 that analyzes spam email. Why? You guys get spam email, I'm assuming, right? All the time, right? All the time. Spam email. How many of you delete it as soon as you see it?
My computer.
Your computer does it for you. Good. And that's another 243 question is how your computer knows things are spam. Genius, actually, genius. I gave a talk on that once. It's wonderful. So, spam email. If you all delete it, why would anybody send spam? Because some people don't delete it. Some people don't. Most do, The chance of somebody clicking on a spam email is well known, and I don't have it memorized, but it's something like 1 in 100,000 or something like that. The payoffs for a spam email are also very, very, very small on average, but the trick is, they're small on average, but if you get enough spams out there and 1 in 100,000 click on them, it's just a matter of counting the pennies as they come in very rapidly. Because in a digital age, spam would never exist in a non-digital age. I mean, it technically does. I mean, it's pork and ham. Spam does exist on the grocery store shelves. But the idea of spam as a money-making scheme to the extent that it is would not exist. Because spammers are able to put out hundreds of millions of emails every day. So you think about hundreds of millions of emails, if 1 in 100,000 are getting clicked on, that's pretty good revenue once you've paid for the upfront cost of putting the emails out there, which is a one-time and one-time only cost. There's a guy named Spammer X who actually wrote a book called How I Made My Millions Spamming. He worked for 1 year, and he made enough to retire for the rest of his life. Because of that simple fact, it nickels and dimes people away. And when I say people, I mean the entire population that checks email. Fascinating. I've got a whole quiz based around just that, because it is that incredibly hard to believe, but at the same time you look at it, you're like, he made how much last year?
Like that movie Office Space.
It's exactly Office Space. It's exactly the movie Office Space with, well, they throw away the 0.2 cents, just keep throwing them into a bank account. It's exactly that movie. That movie's a little bit exaggerated, because I think they rounded, yeah. The pluses and minuses didn't, well, anyway, I'm ruining the joke. Yes, Jessica, go. You're exactly right, Amy. It's exactly Office Space.
I'm just wondering if they make money when you open it, or when you buy into the...
If they hit you when you open it, that's, I think, illegal. I could be wrong.
Okay.
It's legitimate. Like, the Spammer X sold things like, you know, eczema cream and stuff like that, and he relied on the sale. But once he had somebody, and you guys have noticed how good web browsers have gotten at targeting your tastes. It's come a long way in the past 5 years. I used to check Gmail, and you get these crazy ads on the side of Gmail. I'm like, kitten rescue. I'm like, oh my God, that's right, because I sent this guy an email 3 weeks ago about volunteering at Ben Snip, and all of a sudden kitten rescue comes up. They're like, genius. Now it's gotten to the point where Amazon has infiltrated most of the websites you use, and they slap up little things like, oh yeah, Christmas lights. I was looking for those Edison lights, and here they are. I'll be damned. Click. I mean, it's amazing, the mathematics behind computers these days.
It's scary because there's so much about you.
It's actually genius. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's, you know what it is? It's this. All they're doing is, they're constructing an empirical probability based on what you clicked last. I mean, if you're shopping, like for example, I was trying to help my friend find a 5-watt tube guitar amp. And I was going through Musician's Friend, Guitar Center, Russo Music in New Jersey. All of a sudden, I started getting little ads for 5-watt guitar amps on the bottom right corner from all these other music stores I had never thought of before. I'm like, that's brilliant. Thank you for doing my shopping for me, essentially. I can't wait till they get to the point where they start putting it in categorized order for me. Just give us your credit card. I'm like, no, they can have it myself, thanks. But yeah, I mean, I don't fear that. I don't fear that because what they're essentially doing is, when you guys log on to hold a computer and you go to Amazon to look for something, you're pretty much saying, go ahead. Keep an eye on me. It's all public. It's nothing's behind us. So all Google is doing and all Amazon is doing is they're tapping into that public knowledge. If my social security number showed up on something like that, I'd be pissed. Because that is not something I put on public computers. But if it's just something like a 5-watt tube, I'm like, that's brilliant. You're doing my work for me. And it's all about this. It's all about marketing or maximizing the chance that you're interested in what they're going to show you. Amazon has had it for years now. Other companies are starting to catch on. It's pretty cool, actually. A lot of math behind that. Fun. That's what 243 is about. Enough for 105. The rest of the class, which is 1.12 days. Next class, just a work day. Just a work day. This is our last in-class quiz. Cool? We got all our answers for it? Let's make sure we go through a good... We got all our answers. I guess you don't need both pages. You only really need the second page, don't you? So we have all the numbers, right? On class, so you guys filled in this, yes? You filled this up here. Player 1's winnings, player 2's winnings. I'm not going to check. You can both get it. How do we do as a class on average? We won $1.16 or a Starburst 0.16. What was the chance we won experimentally? 48% or 12 and 25, right? Good. What's the theoretical chance of winning? Yes. And then what is the average amount won on a $1 bet? Negative 0.0142. Yes, negative 1.42 cents. The key is it has to be negative because that's how Vegas is making its money. Every game of chance in Vegas is rigged. And it has to be, otherwise they couldn't keep the lights on all night. Okie doke! Let's make a pile right here for that. I got a stapler. Here's a stapler. Please.
Did you say we're going to the computer lab?
Say that again.
I think the last time we're going to the computer lab for work.